Okay, you're welcome back to my studio. I'm GB Belu. I'm sure you have watched the last tutorial, the last video where I gave a tutorial on how to measure for a standard trousers with elastic band for both male and female can wear it. So in this video, I said we are going to cut our pattern. Now, the standard measurement that I'm using for this sample measurement that I'm using to cut this pattern, the trouser length is 43 inches, the crouch depth is 13 inches. Somebody, Jimmy, how do I know the crouch depth? Go and watch the last video. I already gave a table for beginners. Okay, so 13 inches for the crouch depth. My thigh circumference is 27 inches. My knee circumference is 18 inches, and my ankle or M circumference is 16 inches. So we are ready to cut our pattern straight to the point. So I have a pattern paper here, and remember I told you that you will put your pattern paper on fold. On fold means that you fold it into two, and make sure that the folded part is the part that is on your side when you want to cut. So this is my unfolded part, and from this edge, I'm starting from the topmost edge. Is going to be my point A, and I'm going to measure 2 inches down from point A. That will be my point B. You understand? Measure 2 inches down from the upper part. From the upper part, I'm measuring 2 inches down to point B. Measure 2 inches down to my point B, and on that point B, I'm going to rule a line. That is my waistline. That is that. Now from my point B here, I'm going to measure the length of the trousers. You know, I said for this sample trousers, the length is 43 inches. So from my point B, I'm going to measure the length of the trousers down to point C. I hope you can see to point C. Then from point C to D, I'm going to measure another 2 inches down from point C to point D. That is going to be my hemming allowance. You know, I'm going to fold up the base of my trousers too. So from point C to point D is another 2 inches. That is going to be my hemming allowance. All right, that is fine. So we have point A, B, C, and D. Now I'm going back to, at my point C, I'm going to rule. You know, I said it is my ankle line or hem line. Ankle line or hem line. Let me just use ankle line at my point C. All right, and I've ruled it. Now I'm coming back to my point B. From point B, I'm going to measure my crouch depth, which is 13 inches. So from point B, I measure 13 inches down. Use your own crouch depth. My own is 13 inches, so and it ends at point E. So I'm going to rule that place again. Rule my point E, which is going to be my crouch line. So that is my point E, and it is my crouch line. Remember that now I have, this is my crouch line. So now I have my waistline, I have my crouch line, I have my ankle line. All right now. So on my crouch line, I'm going to measure my thigh. My thigh measurement is, my thigh circumference measurement is 27 inches for this sample. So 27 inches divided by 2, that will be 13.5. So from point E, I'm going to measure 13.5 to point F, point E. So my 13.5 is my point F. You understand now? So that is my point F. Now, you know what I measure from point E to point F? My thigh circumference measurement divided by 2. Very good. Now, from point F, I'm going to measure 2 inches backward. 2 inches backward. And that is going to be my point G. Point G. E to F is my thigh circumference measurement divided by 2. e.g. 27 divided by 2, which is 13. Now from point F, I didn't measure forward. I measure it backward, which is just 2 inches. I just measure 2 inches backward, and that is my point G. Now on my point G, I'm going to rule a line upward like this, and that is it. Then next, I will use either my curve or a broom or a curved ruler to do a curve here. That line that I rule upward, I'm going to join a curve to it. Can you see it now? So I've made a curve on my G line. Easy, right? Now let's proceed. Now the next thing we want to do now is to do the knee circumference measurement. I know somebody will ask, okay, where is the knee length? Where do I identify where I will draft my knee circumference measurement? Now this is how to do it. I've kept this part back so you won't worry your head too much. Now put your tape rule on your crouch line and check the distance between your crouch line and your ankle line. If the distance between your crouch line and your ankle line, take for instance, is 30 inches, divided by 2, that will be 15, then take away 1, that will be 14 inches. I'll go over it again. The distance between your crouch line and your ankle line, divided by 2, and take away 1. If the distance between my crouch line and my ankle line is 30 inches, divided by 2, that will be 15 inches. 15 minus 1, that is 14. So I will put my tape rule at point E on my crouch line and measure 14 inches down. That will be my point H. I'll measure 14 inches down. Then on that point H, I'm going to draw my knee line. Just follow the steps. It's very simple. Just follow the steps. Do you get that? So on my point H, the first thing I will do, I will measure 0.5 inches. From point H, 0.5 inches, that will be my point H high. Point H high. Then from point H high, I'm going to measure my knee circumference divided by 2. My knee circumference for this sample measurement is 18 inches. Divided by 2, that will be 9. So from point H high, I will measure 9 inches. And it ended here. Now I'm going to come to my ankle line too, my point C. I'm going to measure 1 inches from point C, 1 inch from point C, and measure it. So that will be my point CI. Then from point C high, I will measure my ankle circumference divided by 2. My ankle circumference for this sample measurement, I actually gave a standard measurement for everybody sizes, which is 16. So 16 divided by 2 will be 8 inches. So I'm going to put my tape rule at point C high and measure my 8 inches, which is here. Then guess what? We are done. You are going to use your long ruler to connect. So I'm going to connect the last measurement on my crouch line, point F, with the last measurement on my knee line. Then I'll also connect it to my ankle line. Can you see it? Can you see it? Guess what? You just finished drafting pattern for the front part of your trousers. So what is next? I'm going to cut it out. You can see it. So I'm going to cut it out. And we will use this front pattern to go and draw the back pattern. Somebody said, Jimmy, just like that. Yes, just like that. You have the front pattern of your trousers. Now, let's go to use this front pattern to cut our back pattern. All right, let's go. So let me just adjust this camera so you can see what I'm going to do very well. I think, can you see it well? Yeah, I think you should be fine now. Yes, I think you should be fine now. So this is my back pattern. I've also placed it on fold. Do you understand? I've also placed it on fold. I'm going to assume this is my folded side, and I'm starting my measurement from this side. Now, so you are going to, first thing you are going to do is to put your front pattern. Put your front pattern. On it. So when you put your front pattern on it, this is what you do. Look at this very well. You put your front pattern on it, on the back, then on your crouch, in front of your crouch line, you will measure 2.5 inches. I think it will be better to stand like this. So this is your front pattern on your back pattern. No, now in front of the front line, you know, this is the crouch line. Measure 2.5 inches at the front of it. That's what I'm just going to do. I'm going to measure 2.5 inches. So this is my 2.5 inches in front of the crouch line. Now in front of the knee line, measure 2 inches. This is my 2 inches. And then in front of the ankle line, measure 1.5 inch. That is my 1.5 inch. So you can see it now. This is the way I positioned my pattern. I positioned my front pattern on my back pattern like this. Then in front of my crouch line, this is my crouch line, I measured 2.5 inches. In front of my knee line, this is my knee line, I measured 2 inches. And then I come to the ankle too. In front of my ankle line, I measure 1.5 inches. That is all. Then the next thing is to connect these edges together. You can do that with your ruler. That is that. Someone is saying, GB, okay, now we've done that. What about the crouch depth part? So no problems. At your crouch depth part too, you know, in front of your crouch line, you measure 2.5 inch. So at your crouch depth part too, just measure 2.5 inches from the top, 2.5 inches, measure 2.5 inches, measure 2.5 inches, then you connect it. You can even use this one to connect. Ha, very accurate. You can see the way I'm using this one to connect it now. Can you see that? Very, very accurate. Then the last thing you will do is the back. You know, you position it here. Your position is like this. Make sure you trace, you know, the back too is slanted. Okay, so I've not even cut the slanted part. So now you can see. The next thing now is to cut. Should I go over this again? Now we place the front pattern on the back pattern. And then in front of the crouch line, I measure 2.5 inches. In front of the knee line, I measure 2 inches. And in front of the ankle line, I measured 1.5 inches. Then I connected the lines. On the upper part too, because in front of the crouch line, I used 2.5 inches. I just measured 2.5 inches at some places. Then I used the crouch part to connect it. You saw the way I did it. Very simple. Now, the last thing now is just to cut. We are done with this thing. I'm cutting now. Before, I didn't shape the back side of the front pattern. So I'm going to shape the back side of the front pattern together with the front with the back pattern. Remember that when I was cutting, drawing the pattern for the front side, I said that you measure 1 inch from C to C high, then 1/2 inch from H to H high. Then I connected point E to my H high, then H high to C high. That is the shaping for the back side. Do you understand? If I don't do that shaping, your trouser leg will not have fitness. It will just look too loose, like a hot screw. So now I've shaped the back side of my front pattern. So I'm going to, I've positioned it on my back pattern. I'm going to cut it out together, both together. I'm cutting now. This is the last thing I'm doing on this, which is just to cut. All right, so I've shaped the back side of the trousers, and then the very last thing, I'm going to cut the back pattern, and I will be done with drawing the pattern for this trousers. So what is it? I never knew this thing is easy like this. So yes, it is easy. When GB is training, I try to simplify everything to the minimum for my trainers. Wow, yeah, we are there. This is the front pattern. This is the back pattern of my trousers. Just like that, you have learned how to draw both the front pattern and the back pattern of your trouser set, elastic band, stylish trousers for both male and female. So in the next video, what would that be? Maybe we will sew the trousers. Well, I can't tell now, but just watch out. Thank you.